So everybody, I wanted to go live for you today, but unfortunately, for some reason the live button wasn't working. So I want to go over with you a couple things with the flowers again, so that I really make it clear how we approach this. So it's not about adding fine details to the flowers. It's about creating movement, and you create movement by these loose lines that you create. So I have to hold this and draw at the same time. We'll see if I can do it. All right, so here we are. Here's my paper, there's my pastels, here's my flower. So when we are doing our lines on our paper for our pastels, we want to make sure that these lines are loose. Meaning that they flow. So you can see that I'm doing these very light, and they're almost a continuous line. You know, they flow, they move, they're different sizes too. You know, as I'm looking at that pink one, they're different sizes. There's a few little ruffly lines on the insides here, but they're all kind of different lines and sizes to make these flowers appear more realistic, okay? But appear light and fluffy, because flowers are light and fluffy. If you do very strong little details and too many little details, what happens is the flowers will appear stiff. Okay, we don't want the stiff. And then there's a stem to this flower that's around here. There's some leaves around this flower, and there's one more leaf around in here. So very loose lines. Okay, so now we have our flower. We have it based in, okay, meaning we have the outlines in. Our lines are different sizes, and now we're gonna look at the different pinks that we have. Now, with the pinks, there's many different kinds. Some are gonna be too bright, some are gonna be too dull, but you can always lighten these up, and you can lighten them up with white, and you can also lighten them up with the cream. Now, this is actually a cream color. I know it's hard to see, maybe you can see the difference, but this cream works really nicely to kind of tone the colors down. The other thing we can do is get a very soft green. Remember, green is the opposite of your red. Now, this looks dark. It's actually not as dark as it appears. There's a little bit brighter. So see, that one's brighter. And you want to be careful if it's too bright, because then again, too much green is going to show. It might be great for the leaves, but not so much for the flowers. So we get our colors ready. And then again, what we're going to do is we're going to start with those dark areas. So we're going to look at this flower. I'm going to see it, there's these dark areas. And if you notice, the flower's going inward. So we're going to do that same thing when we're coloring. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to be really loose with the pastels. Okay, really loose with them. Some places I'm doing heavier lines, but notice how quick. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do the lines that I'm making, the shading, up to these shadow lines, okay? Up to these shadow lines. And I'm also, not only am I shading up to the shadow lines, but I'm trying to keep, so I want to get rid of them, I'm trying to keep my lines different sizes. So I go, see that shadow line, I go up to it, and I pull out from it. So up to it and I pull out really fast. And when you do that dark versus the light, and you're pulling out from the flower, shading in the direction of the flower, what's going to happen is your flowers are going to look like they have movement, and they're going to look in many ways much more realistic. So I'm just going to do a little bit more here, just to get you the main gist of things and those little balls that are in there. But now I've almost gotten rid of most of those darker lines. So then I can come in with a little bit of a brighter pastel. You can kind of see it, so creamier, and I'm going to put that color in there too. And again, shading it sideways, putting it in along those lines, leaving those white areas, because I really want the whites to pop. Then I'm going to go in with my cream color, because even though that's pink, it's not a super light pink. So now I'm going in on top of it, and I'm still shading in the direction of how those petals are facing. And I'm making them all different sizes. I'm doing it very quick, okay? This isn't something that should be slow, because if you do it slow, it's going to get stiff. And if you don't want the stiff, and then I'm going to go around with some of these whites because I want some of these whites to pop. Now, what's lucky with you guys is you have that dreamy newsprint, okay? That newsprint is the best because it's really dreamy. I'm just using white Xerox paper. This is just white Xerox paper that I'm using. See, look how cool that's coming out. I'm like so excited. And now I'm going to take and I'm going to look at those yellows in there. And I'm going to put, this is a cream. It looks bright here. It's not that bright. And you can see like when I use it, it's not that bright. And again, I'm just wiggling these quickly. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that green. And I'm going to put that green in there. Again, wiggling it quickly. I'm going to go back over it. And those little dots are going to start to blend in. Then on the darkest areas within my flower, those real dark areas, that's where this green comes into play. So I'm going to go up over those lines, okay, that grayish line that I did, and I'm going to add, I know it's going to look really green at first. Remember, we learned with color that we mix, okay, we're mixing, but I'm putting this in, and then here's that brightest. I know it looks red, it's not that red. And then I'm going to blend that in, and it's going to help create those deeper shadows. Okay, it's going to create the different shadows for you. I don't know why it's one out of focus. There we go. And if you want, you can smudge. But if you've noticed, I haven't really been smudging a lot. I've been letting the pastels do it for me. And when you do smudge, I just want you to lightly tap. And notice what finger? Using the ring finger, okay? And again, I'm not sitting there and blending it in. It's a light tap. Like if you were trying to get an eyelash off of someone's face, you wouldn't smear it off their face and push hard. No, you'd lightly grab at it. And all of those things coming together are going to make those flowers look more realistic. Okay, so practice those today. I'm excited to see it in your process slides. Bye.